What's up guys, and welcome back to the Station Bakery. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these cute back to school cake jars for your child's teacher, which might be you this year. Anyways, I'll be working out of Cricut Design Space to create these labels for these jars. I'm going to start off with my apple. To make my apple, I'm going to come to the shapes and grab a circle. Cricut Design Space has pre-made files that you can already use and import into your project, but you know, I like to make things difficult, so I'm going to create it myself. I'm going to unlock my circle so I can adjust the shape to make this look more like an apple. And I think that looks pretty good. Now, you may be saying that that does not look like an apple, but just hang with me. Let's duplicate our circle and drag it right next to each other. And then we are going to weld this into one whole piece. Now, do you see the apple? Anyways, we need to go up and we're going to change the color. It's not really necessary to change the color on here since I will be using vinyl, but it just helps visually to get a good eye on what we're going to be doing. Keep in mind that you can easily use a pre-made template from Cricut, but you know, I just didn't feel like paying for one just to show you this tutorial, and I thought it would just be cool to show you that you can make things yourself. So here we're grabbing another circle and we're going to unlock the layer, and we are now going to create our leaf. This project is a really simple one, so I think that is really cool for me to show you just how much you can do on your own using this program. By the way, it's free. Well, the machine isn't free, but the program is free. So anyways, let's go in and continue with our apple. Now I'm going to create the stem, and I'm choosing to use a square. We're going to unlock the layer, make it small to resemble a stem, and then we'll go in and put it where it belongs on our apple. Now, I don't have brown vinyl, so for this simple project, I'm choosing to make it black. Again, using the colors on here, it doesn't really matter because I am using vinyl, but again, it just helps visually to know what I'm doing, and when I go to place it on my mats, it just helps it to be better organized. So here I'm grabbing all of my pieces and I'm going to group them together to create one piece so I can move it around without losing any of the pieces. Next, I'm using the text feature. It's the big T over on the left side, and I'm going to start creating my text. I am choosing to use teacher, and the font that I'm choosing to use is the Cricut Sans. This is the standard Cricut font. For this, I just think it goes with the theme of school and teacher. It's clean, it's straight. You know, when you teach a kid how to write their name, it's kind of like this is the font that you go for. So that's what I'm going to use. Group that together so I don't lose it. And now I'm going to add my hello. It's going to have a little bit of flair. I believe this font is Michelle Garden or something like that. But here I've unlocked these letters, so now each one is freestanding, and I'm using that to adjust and get the letters together in a spacing that I'm happy with. Here I'm adjusting my text to match up perfectly how I want it to look. I really like the contrast in the two different texts, or the two different fonts rather. And now I'm just going to take my apple, make it smaller, and I'm going to sit it in the space that is left over from my hello and teacher. I really like this design. It really has that classic Apple teacher vibe going for it. So now we're going to click make it to go to our mats and get our mats prepared and loaded. As you see, each color has its own mat, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these smaller pieces all onto one mat so it can all cut out in one go. I think I like it like that. So now we are going to connect to our Cricut machine. We are going to choose our material, which is premium vinyl. Set the default. I set it at default, but you can do more or less depending on what you want to do. Just going here to check my mat and getting the dimensions so I put my pieces in the right place. This is very important because you don't want to forget and just put pieces on there and then you don't know what color goes where, and then you're just cutting out any and everything. So here we have my vinyl, and I'm getting ready to cut out each piece, making sure that my measurements match what my mat on the computer says. I'm going to start by laying down my black. I purchased most of my vinyl from Hobby Lobby, so you can go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any craft store. You can also order it off of Amazon. I will have some things linked below in the description. You can go browse, find the colors that you want. Typically, I see that they range around $10 a piece. So not too bad, and you can get a lot of use out of it depending on the projects and things that you use. All of my pieces are now laid, so it is now time to load our mat. This is why in the beginning the colors didn't really matter, because my vinyl is here. It's not going to cut out as one piece. So anyways, let's get this thing going. I like to put my process on fast because I'm impatient. I don't like to wait, and we're going to get that thing going. See how fast that was? So now here's my jar that I'm going to be using. Now this is a jar that I use from another project, but you know, we're just going to reuse, recycle, all of that good stuff, and we're going to turn it over to the other side to put our label. But make sure you catch that label though, okay? So now let's get into the process of what's called weeding. That is removing all of the excess vinyl away from our pieces that we are going to use for our project. Sometimes this can be very relaxing. Other times it can be so stressful. Here we have our transfer tape. You will need transfer tape when doing any kind of project. This is what you use to transfer your vinyl from your mat onto your project. So very important. Again, this will be linked in the description below, as well as everything else that I am using for your pleasure. Now here we are, we're going to get our pieces lined up nice and straight, nice and tidy, and we're going to start the process of layering. I layer from top to bottom, so the pieces that will be on the top, I will stick on first and then work my way to the lower layers. This is just a cake scraper that I had, and I decided to use this instead of purchasing a Cricut scraper. You know, we're going to use what we have around here, save the monies, and yeah, that's just what we're going to do. So here I'm going to layer my leaf on top of my apple, which will then go on top of my stem, which I will then add to the words, and you can just watch and enjoy. Okay, so here's a quick trick and tip. So you see how it's kind of hard and the letters are sticking when I do it this way? Well, what I like to do is flip it over backwards and then peel the paper away from the vinyl and the transfer tape. And it works like a charm every time. And here we have our finished label. It looks so amazing. Now let's add it to our jar. I like to put my jar onto my mat because it just helps it stick and hold in place. It makes it easier for me to apply my vinyl sticker. And look at that, guys. So cool and amazing. Now it's time for the big review. Dun 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 dun. Hello, teacher. Wow. Look at that, guys. It'll probably be easier for you to see once I fill it, you know, because I do have that other vinyl sticker on the other side, but it still looks so awesome and amazing. Now let's clean up our workspace so we can get to filling these jars. This is your cleaning motivation. So if you have a work area that's a little messy right now, take this as your motivation to go get it cleaned. Let's fill these jars. I don't know about you, but I really find making cake jars just really relaxing, just adding all of the layers on layers on layers. It just really just soothes me, and I really just enjoy watching cake jars being filled. If you're the same way, be sure that you give me a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and leave me a comment below telling me what is your favorite cake jar creation that you like to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and you treat your teachers or yourself if that'll be you. And until next time, peace.